Hello everyone, this is Brenda with DNAngels, and I am going to be relaying to you a story that was sent to us by one of our viewers. She is telling in her own words her story. This is Andrea's letter. On December 24th, 2024, at 58 years old, I decided to take a 23andMe test for the fun of it. When the results came back, and the first thing I noticed that a couple of people from my mom's side showed up, which made sense, but from the father who had raised me for 50 years, here was no one from my dad's side. Thinking it had to be the test, I bought an Ancestry DNA kit, but the results were the same. I grew up in a small town where everyone knows everyone. Right away, I noticed a familiar name listed amongst my first cousins and aunts. People I knew, I wasn't related to, but that name had come up before. It was the name of my mother's high school sweetheart. So I asked my 83-year-old mother about it. She told me not to believe those tests. She said she watches Maury and they are always wrong. She laughed. I let it go in the moment, but deep inside, I knew something wasn't right. The doubt ate away at me. I kept going back to the results, staring at them over and over again. Searching Facebook, Googling names, trying to make sense of it all. Finally, I contacted DNAngels, and Search Angel Shelley confirmed what I was beginning to fear, that the man I thought was my father was not my biological dad. Growing up, I think I always sensed something was off. I was told I was German and Irish, but I had dark hair, dark eyes, and I tanned easily. Now I know I'm Italian and Greek. And when my boys played sports, people would ask if they were related to other kids on the team because they looked so much alike. Turns out, those kids were their cousins. I pressed my mom again for the truth. She just kept asking, why was I so obsessed with it? She insisted she never cheated. Even my husband didn't fully understand the need I had to just know. For 2 weeks, I couldn't even speak to my mom. I was so angry and so hurt. As her only child and someone who I normally talk to every single day, it was agony. Eventually, I went back to her, and this time, she admitted it. 3 months after she married my dad, the man who raised me, she went for a ride with her ex, who turned out to be my biological father. 6 months later, I was born. I don't think my dad ever knew the truth, and for that I am thankful. It would have crushed him. But my biological father has also passed. And that's a pain of its own. I never got to meet him. Never got to know what kind of man he was, or even what he looked like. All because of secrets and lies. I love my mom, but this is a hurt I don't think I'll ever fully forgive. In my search for siblings, I found a man who turned out to be adopted by my biological father when he was 7. No true siblings, but he became a new friend. He's promised to share pictures and tell me about the man who raised him. I'm waiting patiently for that. I've reached out to some cousins who have been very kind, but there are no aunts or uncles left to tell me about my father. All I want to know is if he was a good man and if I look like him. One of the hardest was when my mom begged me not to tell my two sons, ages 26 and 23. But I couldn't keep the lie going. I bought them each an Ancestry test. Now they know the truth. They were hurt, of course. They loved their grandfather who raised me, but the lies stopped that day. Recently, I went to my biological father's grave. I talked to him, told him how much I wished I'd had the chance to meet him. He was Catholic, and I am not. But in the coming weeks, I plan to visit his church, hoping to find some peace. Nobody truly understands this journey unless they've lived it. It takes you through every possible emotion, and sometimes I wonder if life will ever feel normal. Andrea. Andrea, thank you so much for sharing something so deeply personal. We know how heavy it is to discover that the story you grew up with isn't the full truth. The mix of anger, sadness, and longing you described is something so many in our community feel, and you are not alone. What matters most is that you found your answers and you've passed honesty and truth down to your sons. That's a powerful gift. We're honored to have walked alongside you through this journey, and we hope you continue to find peace as you move forward. I hope this has helped some of you out there have a moment where you could empathize with Andrea, and hopefully it will help you through your journey if you find yourself in this situation as well. Goodbye, everybody. See you later.